What's up? Elijah Campbell from 107.5 The Game and the post-game show here live from sunny Tampa Bay, Florida. After South Carolina eviscerated Texas in the second half, 74-57. I'm here with my man Glenn from Modern Exterminating, an expert on knowing what bugs you in taking care of pests. So what better way to give our exterminator of the game than an expert himself? So Glenn, hey, thanks for joining me, man, and very excited after that first couple minutes of that game. You know, we got a little concerned when Texas got up early, but we can sit here now, and as we do in the Final Four every year, because this team's in the Final Four every year, give you our Final Four exterminator of the game. And Glenn, I think we're on the same page here on who we both think is the one player who really helped on the defensive side of the ball exterminate Texas from the Final Four.
Well, Elijah, we do. And before we get started with that, I have a couple of honorable mentions for Exterminator of the Game. First honorable mention, Raven Johnson. What a great block she had in the first quarter. Oh, my goodness. I think it just deflated the whole state of Texas. It really did. I mean,
swatted the air out of that ball,
she swatted the ball, and she gave that look to the other team, kind of like, we're here, and we're going to win. And it really changed the whole aspect of the game. So congratulations to Raven for honorable mention, because that was a heck of a block. But my next honorable mention will go to Joyce Edwards. What a great game she had. Double-double 6 times. I mean, and she's a freshman. So hopefully we'll have her for another 3 years. Let's hope. Let's keep our fingers crossed she'll stay here for another 3 years. But Joyce, what a great game. But my exterminator of the game for the first game of the Final Four in 2025 is Tahina Paopao. What a great game she had. She was all over the court. She was stealing the ball. She was hitting threes. She was hitting big shots. It seemed like every time we needed a big play, she was there. And that's why she's exterminated of the game, because she exterminated Texas's hopes yesterday.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the plays that I focus in on, she had 2 steals, right? Mm-hmm. She had 2 steals, and those were big in different ways. And the first one, you know, Texas is scoring early. They get a couple buckets. They're starting to feel themselves a little bit. Mm-hmm. And South Carolina just wasn't getting a ton on the offensive side of the ball. And sometimes the best way to kickstart your offense is by getting some stops and some easy buckets on some what we call pick sixes, a basketball version of it. And Tahina Paopao jumped the passing lane and went straight down the floor, scored a layup. They got their offense flowing a little bit through that because they finally saw one go in. I thought that was a crucial part of getting the Gamecocks back into this game. And then the second one, the steal that she had later on, I think it was probably in the second quarter, where she jumps another passing lane, right? And as somebody who's maybe not as physically imposing as like a Bree Hall, to have the hustle and the heart making that 50-50 play to deflect a pass, dive on the floor, and still knock it out of a Texas player and get the ball back, I think was just a microcosm of what this team did to Texas defensively last night.
I completely agree with you, Elijah. And my dad has this old saying, you can't measure the size of someone's heart. And you cannot measure the size of Tahina's heart. She may not be the biggest, she may not be the strongest, but boy, she had the heart last night. And she needs to bring it for the next game, because this Connecticut team, boy, didn't that game, boy, they look stacked. So I'm worried about it, but I think we have the players that can beat them. But at the end of the day, boy, UConn looked good. We're going to need all that heart for next game.
Man, I mean, I think exterminating might be a little bit of an undersell on what Connecticut did to UCLA last night. I mean, that was maybe an evaporation. They just wiped them off the earth.
I was a little surprised by they said it was, at the end of the game, it was the biggest margin of victory ever in the history of the Final Four. And, boy, what a game Connecticut put on UCLA. I couldn't believe how bad Connecticut won or beat them down.
Yeah, I mean, and so that leads me kind of to this too. I mean, defensively, you're playing a team that's got the best point guard in the country in Paige Beckers, a player that has been one of the faces of the sport ever since she stepped on campus at UConn. You have Sarah Strong, one of the best freshmen in the country, also with some South Carolina ties with her mom, who played with Dawn. Yeah. And then you have AZ Fudd, who is also kind of broken out, and she has recovered from that ACL injury about as well as one possibly can. That's a team that is clicking on all cylinders. Who do you think maybe needs to maybe outperform? Because this is South Carolina's best defensive team in the country, right? I firmly believe that, even though, like, the numbers, I think they're only number 2 behind UConn if you go on Bart Torvik. But you use your eye test, you watch what this team does, and you see everything they take away from people. You know they're an elite defensive unit. That's what Dawn Staley, hangs her hat on. But when you see what UConn did to UCLA last night, and you see this team for South Carolina on the floor, who's maybe the one player that you're looking for to be the biggest X factor in stepping up and making sure UConn does not do to them again what they did to them in February?
Well, I think Raven has a lot of room for improvement, personally. I think she played well last night, but I think she could play better. I mean, and also Chloe Kitts. I mean, Chloe could definitely be a force inside that we need to win this game.
Yeah, and Raven too. I mean, for those who can remember as far back as last year, Raven was kind of the Caitlin Clark stopper, right? I think we all remember the play where Raven picks Caitlin Clark's pocket near half court, gets the layup with less than a minute left in the half, and that turned the tide of that national championship game. I am excited to see what Raven Johnson can do with the Paige Beckers assignment.
Well, I was going to say Paige Beckers is kind of the Caitlin Clark of this of this tournament, and we're going to have to find somebody that's going to be able to shut her down. I don't know if it's possible, but we're going to have to try to shut her down, and I think Raven could do it, but honestly, I'm looking forward to a great game tomorrow, and hopefully the Cocks will come out on top.
That's right, and if they do, that's a back-to-back championship. That's a third championship in 4 years, and that senior class of Raven, Sanaya, and Bree will have had 3 national championships, which kind of puts them in a little bit of rarefied air. And, Glenn, I'm sure you probably know this too, only 2 schools in the history of women's college basketball have more than 3 national championships. That's UConn and Tennessee. So a 4th championship tomorrow not only beats UConn again, but that puts you in a class of the 2 blue bloods of the entire sport. It's a massive opportunity.
Well, that would be a great opportunity. And also, it's always nice to beat Gino, right?
It is.
I mean, he's the most successful coach ever. He's the John Wooden of women's basketball.
Yep.
So it would be great to beat Gino, especially in the finals. But I'm looking forward to a great game tomorrow night, and I just can't wait. What about you?
Oh, I'm stoked. And obviously, as the expert in exterminating, Dawn might be the expert in basketball exterminating. So if there's anybody that can draw up a game plan and prepare a defense for what UConn does, I think it's Dawn Staley.
Well, I agree, and I'm looking forward to a great game tomorrow night.
It's going to be fantastic.
Tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, ABC. Check it out. I'll be here in Tampa with my coverage as well. Glenn's going to be in the house for that one again, hoping to catch a little bit of confetti. So I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Glenn from Modern Exterminating. He knows what bugs you, and we're hoping that the Gamecocks bug UConn tomorrow night.